Hello and welcome to my channel Health and Wellness with Emma Mentel and to my day 6 update of my planned 21-day fast. For those of you who've been following me from the start of this journey, you will know that things have been very familiar to me. I've done a 5 and a 6 day fast before, so week 1 for me theoretically is not unfamiliar territory. My body knows what to expect. There haven't been any great shocks. I know what happens with ketosis. I've been checking my blood glucose throughout and using my minerals in my water and some Celtic salt as my support. My general energy has been absolutely fine. The waves of ketosis have really helped me with focus, with energy, taking care of the hunger. So as far as that goes, I don't really have much to report other than I feel really good, and this is where I'm starting to go into the unknown. I haven't fasted beyond 6 days, so this is where I'm going to want to start to lean in to how my mind gets in the way or tries to distract me from my intentions and my commitment. Some of the things that I've noticed in the last few days, and I think it's our conditioning. It's well, not just ours, society's conditioning around eating, food, and also my own nervous system probably trying to ensure my survival and that I'm safe. So in the last 2 days, I would say there's definitely been some food noise. Food noise for me is thoughts about food when it's not necessary. Thoughts about wanting to taste food, the idea of not going to be eating for such a long time. So a little bit of resistance, not a lot, but something I have to constantly remind myself of where I want to go with this. And as I mentioned in my previous video, my biggest why. So when these thoughts arise, or something that's a little bit intrusive and tries to distract me from how good I'm feeling, I am using affirmations, reassurance, calming my nervous system, finding things that bring me joy, spending time in the garden if I'm not with clients, swimming in the ocean, reading affirmations, and also using the group support. There's 3 of us doing this journey together, and it is reassuring to know that one can share some of your, it's not a fear, I can't even call it a fear, it's not even a doubt, it's just resistance. Resistance is the only word I can use to describe this. A little bit of resistance that goes, this is a long time, what if you don't feel so good? What I've noticed with my blood sugar is that it hasn't gone down further. In fact, I assume because my fasting insulin has probably come down, that my blood sugar has stabilized around a very comfortable level. So there's absolutely no concern with that. And some of the things that I thought I'll mention in this very brief update around our conditioning with food and eating is that there is this kind of codependent relationship with food. Food when it's not used just for fuel, food when it's used for comfort, for numbing, food when it's used when you're bored or when you're feeling alone or when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So that is not a healthy relationship with food. And I can probably imagine and assume that people who have a healthy relationship with food and eating and body weight and body image use food purely as its functional purpose for energy and for fuel, not for any other emotional reason or ways to numb any feelings. As we know, with any addiction or any dysfunctional use of coffee or food or gambling or alcohol or exercise or shopping, whatever that is, it's usually to do with some deeper situation that hasn't quite been resolved, and then that habit has become the conditioning around coping with that. So for me, the intention, or one of the intentions of the next 2 weeks really, is to break these patterns, or to start to dissolve some conditioning around safety that I feel, with comfort eating or whatever else the situation might be. And I'd really love to hear from you where you are at with your relationship with food. Does it play any role when you feel upset or bored, or when you need to numb difficult emotions? What happens for you? What are the tools that you use when food is not an option in that instance? Another thought I had this morning, and it was actually a card that I drew, was around abundance. And so, of course, when we feel that we are enough, when we feel worthy and good enough, and that we have enough, when there's no sense of lack, it's much easier to go without. So it is one of the things that I keep reminding myself of, in the sense of dealing with not having food, is that I am more than enough. I have more than enough. I definitely have reserves. My blood glucose and my energy tells me that there's more than enough resources available for this part of the journey, and it might change. So the idea of abundance as opposed to lack is something that I feel I will be leaning into for the next few days, and hopefully throughout. And really reminding myself of this absolute miracle that the body can learn how to adapt when food sources are not around. I keep reminding myself of our ancestors who didn't have food on tap. They didn't have a fridge, they didn't have a pantry, they didn't have supermarkets. So their bodies had to adjust. Their bodies were much more metabolically flexible when food wasn't available. So these are my thoughts. These are my sort of current experiences around my thoughts and feelings around not eating. I am super tuned into smells. I just went to a supermarket now, and I could smell the coffee in the coffee aisle. So when you take away food, it's like your senses really sharpen, and I know I mentioned that in a previous video as well. I would love to hear from you. Please let me know if you have any questions that you would like me to answer in my next recording. And please subscribe to my channel. Please share these videos. Please leave a comment or a question. And thank you so much for visiting and for watching this update. I'll bring you more in the next day or two, and as I go along. Thank you so much for being here.